Welcome to yet another Minute Microscopy. I'm Eric Rosenblatt, and in this episode, I'd like to start with a question. Do I own this? Well, what about this? Sure, I may have bought them, but do I really own them? Yep, I want to talk about the right to repair movement. What is right to repair? Well, perhaps I should begin by explaining what it is meant to address, which will make the movement's goals obvious. Well, at least to a DIY person such as myself. But the implications go beyond DIY into third party, that is, non OEM repair services. Basically, right to repair is aimed at restraining manufacturers from preventing their customers from performing their own repairs. Now, this situation has existed for a long time, but it's ramped up in recent years with the advent of the internet and connected devices. In the early days, it might have been something like the use of unusual screws or epoxied housings and such. But back then, it was understood and generally accepted that a customer might tinker with the product. Hell, a lot of electronic devices came with the circuit schematics, and often a user manual even had a parts catalog in it. As time went on, probably paralleling the onset of the throwaway culture, companies started attempting to put up more and more roadblocks to self-repair. Nowadays, you can expect your devices to be put together in such a way as to be extremely difficult to take apart, or in some cases, self-destruct if you do so. They may even alert the manufacturer that you've tampered with it, or brick itself, as in the case of John Deere and Tesla and stuff. Or manufacturers will force updates that will artificially cripple your product. IoT is a double-edged sword. With falling prices comes a diminishing profit margin per unit. So the trend is shifted away from longevity toward continued replacement. For better or worse, that's where we are today. But it doesn't end at the hardware and software level. There's also a constant legal assault on our ability to work on our own possessions. Contracts, patents, copyright, trademark, and intellectual property laws often act as a barrier to the DIYer. I won't mention warranties because that really doesn't matter to us. In fact, I get a thrill out of breaking a void seal. Anyway, sharing schematics, service manuals, and instructions or replacement parts have been met with legal action against the consumer. Customs regularly seizes imported replacement parts on the grounds that they are counterfeit. Thanks, Apple. Are aftermarket spark plugs counterfeit or just another company's clone? It's not only the solo DIYer who has to deal with this nonsense. Manufacturers regularly hassle third-party repair companies and constantly spread propaganda aimed to discredit their abilities, even though in many cases, the service is considerably superior to the manufacturers. After all, these businesses have a lot more to lose if they do a poor job. Manufacturers sell legislation to politicians on the basis of safety and security. And as anyone knows, that's an obvious indication that it's a scam. Sure, it's possible somebody could injure or kill themselves with a botched repair, but if information were able to freely flow, this would be very unlikely. Besides, people could just as easily injure or kill themselves misusing a product if it were really such a powder keg. And well, as for security, at least in the computer technology, closed obfuscated systems are the least secure, most risky systems. If the general public isn't able to vet the algorithms, locate vulnerabilities, etc., there's no way to know if a system is truly secure or if it's a ticking time bomb waiting to be breached by a zero-day exploit on your infrastructure. If government weren't able to be involved, there would be little that companies could do to stop you from fixing your own stuff. But government is involved, unfortunate as that is. And this is where the right to repair movement comes in. The goal is to reverse the course and put power back in the hands of the consumer to have control of the products they paid for, that they own, and by every right should be able to buy, sell, trade, dismantle, reverse engineer, repair, modify, and improve, all while sharing the knowledge they acquired. If you can't do those things, you don't actually own it. You're merely borrowing it from someone else. While I don't believe in legislating to compensate for other legislation, it's at least a step in the right direction. Perhaps in time, we'll be able to go to Samsung's website and download schematics, order parts, and discuss on their own forums how to fix the latest Galaxy phone. Psh, yeah, right. Don't bet on it.